Hello, my name is Robert Hollis. I want to thank you very much for tuning into my Periscope worldwide. Thank you very much. This is show 100, going for 850,000 hearts on our way to 1,000,000. I basically am a life mechanic. I used to be an auto mechanic, and I got hurt on the job, put on workman's comp, lost everything. I love saying this statement because it's true. I was not only spiritually bankrupt, physically bankrupt, mentally bankrupt, financially broke up. Was bankrupt on every aspect. I tell people I was so broke I couldn't pay attention. And so, and true fact, man. And so when you're broke, you become humble, hopefully. And when I became humble, someone introduced me to a gentleman that's now a billionaire, and he was my mentor, 28 years ago. And so, I'm going to share with you some wisdom. I just love giving and sharing with people. My legacy for the rest of my life is 100% just giving and building that legacy. And so you can check me out on lifemechanic.com. You can check under the blog. I record these periscopes and put them up later. And so that's one of the cool things that's there. Also, in the upper right-hand corner of lifemechanic.com, you can actually find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, where a lot of recordings are, and I'm here to help you in any way I can. So you can put in your email address, your name, and I'll let you know whenever I'm doing new blog posts, which is almost on a daily basis. So the topic for today is money. Money, 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 money. Now, it's amazing, depending on the environment that you grew up and depending on the culture that you grew up, it's amazing. I don't think that anyone that's watching this video really understands all the things that they think and limiting beliefs about money. A lot of the limiting beliefs that we have in our minds, in our hearts, in our spirits are things that we don't even know that are there. And so, you hear all these neat statements, money doesn't buy happiness. My statement behind that is neither does poverty. So I don't know what your point. So if money doesn't buy happiness, neither does poverty. So pick one, right? And then I'm going to give you a lot of things that I've learned about money over a period of time. One of the things that I've learned from a lot of successful people, is the original thing that they were going after was never money. Money always ended up being a byproduct. So it's really unique when you find people out there that are going after money. I need money. A lot of times the things that you think about the most are things that, with your affirmations, the things that you're saying, the incantations that you're saying. I'm broke. I can't afford that. I don't know why money eludes me. You know what I mean? These are all thoughts in your mind that come from limiting beliefs. It comes from lack of self-confidence, self-esteem, worthiness, all of this stuff, right? And so let me give you a couple of concepts that I hope I can help you with some paradigm shifts to actually change the way you think about money. The first one I want to cover, and I wrote them down here, is money is the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. Well, here's a little bit of paradigm shift behind that. And I needed this. I 100% needed this, depending on how you were brought up in your culture as far as your spiritual beliefs and how you believe. I grew up in an environment where I grew up in a really, really, really bad childhood, and I don't even want to go there. I don't like talking about it. You can read about it in my book, How Is That Working? You can find it on Amazon. But bottom line, because of where I grew up, and I'll just give you one thought of where I was financially growing up, is we had our home taken away from us as a child, 12 years old, 11 years old. I don't know how old I was, but we had our home taken away from us because it was condemned. The city actually came down and said it wasn't safe to live in. So they condemned it. I think it's called yellow tagging or whatever. And then we had to go from there to some kind of temporary shelters, and then ended up in like the project living, you know what I mean? Low income housing. And I mean, it's like money to me is like, you grow up around a group of people, and the people on Snob Hill are the ones that had the money. And they were bad people. And I'll tell you why they were bad people. Because these people had unbelievable big homes. They had more than one car. They dressed in really nice clothes. And they had businesses and stuff. And those people that had money never gave us some of it. You really know when you're coming from a messed up thinking, and thoughts are things, and you can change those thoughts, which will change you, change your heart, change everything, right? But when you come from a place, which a lot of people come from, and I'm not going to really drill it here, but you guys ought to get this, and it's like, this whole entitlement thing, this whole, that the world right now is in a place where the wealthy keep getting wealthier and the poor keep getting poor. And there needs to be money, equal. We got to spread the money out. Do you know that they've done scientific social studies that there's a number of times that cultures all over the world, including in the United States, where it was like everybody hit the reset button. It was like, the Great Depressions in the 30s, right? And when everything sets and resets, and the people that have a lot of money usually have a lot of businesses and money invested in banks and real estate and everything. So when it takes a correction, people don't realize they get hurt. They get hurt. So if you got $1,000 in the bank and you lost 900 of it, they have $1 million, they lost 900,000. They have $1 billion, they lost 900 million. You see what I mean? And I know what people are saying when you hear that, but it's like, well, listen, they had $1 billion, so now they got 100 million, but understand that if you lose your cash flow, the market changes. You got to file bankruptcy on a couple of your companies. The point that I'm making is the study is showing that if you split up all the money and gave everybody equal share, it would take probably less than 7 years for the wealthy people to get it back. And see, the reason why is, let me just share this philosophy with you, because you might have heard it, but for whatever reason you don't believe it. See, if people don't have the right mentality, you hear about this all the time, where people win the lottery, or people actually, are gambling and they actually hit it big. And it's within years. I'm talking 3 to 5 years, and they're in worse financial shape as they were before they got the money. The reason why is they don't have the right thoughts about money. They don't think about money the right way. So they, in some reason or another, they find a way. So the wealthy people would make things, do inventions, come out with stuff that the people that had the money would give them money, and that's how they would get it back. So they would turn around and figure out ways to be able to get people. So J. Paul Getty said it best. All you need to do is find things that people want, people need, and if you make that, you get it back. So the point about money is a couple of thoughts here. First of all, if you grew up like I did, not liking the wealthy, being around a culture and a group of people where today throughout the world, being an entrepreneur, being a business person, generating above average income is like you're almost like a bad guy. It's like you're a villain. You know what I mean? Oh, are you telling me the average person makes X amount of money and you make double that, triple that, quadruple that? See, all of a sudden, it's like the mentality of most people is if you make an abundance of money, then you gotta be taking advantage of people. You gotta be ripping people off. You are a hoarder of it. You don't give it away. You don't give it away to charity. You don't take care of people. See, all these things, whether you know this or not, could be embedded into your psychology, your subconscious mind. And so now each and every day you go out there to make money and you go, I don't want to be one of those bad people. I don't want to change who I am. You know, money changes people. You've heard that. You know, the last thing I want to be is being a greedy individual and have everybody in the world and all my friends and family look at me as a bad person. You know what I mean? So all this, you're saying that you would like more money, but do you? And that's a neat thing to think of. So let's talk about that spiritual level again. The root of the money, or the love of money, is the root of all evil, right? Well, let me give you a little thought about that. It's just a paradigm. It's just a thought. It worked for me. Hopefully it'll work for you. Is first of all, the whole concept of the thought of money, all right? The love of money. Now, regardless of the spiritual belief that you believe in, listen to this. You're always supposed to put your God first. Every religion talks about you've got to put God first. So put me first and all things will be added onto me. Usually the second commandment is have no false idols. You know what I mean? Put me first. You know what I mean? So it's like, so think about this. You're supposed to meditate on the word day and night. You're supposed to build a personal, intimate relationship with your creator. And regardless of the belief, that's usually, what they're talking about, right? So now the next step is this, is I want you to think about, now my experience could totally be different than yours. But if you're supposed to put your creator first, you're supposed to put, in some cases, people's spiritual beliefs believe that they're the creator. See what I mean? So let me share something with you. I have been very, very, very blessed to do very well financially. Very, very well. But to get me to this point, there's been a number of times within my life that I've had no money. I mean, no money. Like I didn't even know how I was going to put gas in the car or what I was going to eat that day. So I've been in scenarios in my life numerous times where I didn't have money for the essentials, which is food and water. And so, so I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like to not have any money, not know how you're going to eat, not know how you're going to get around, how you're going to take care of your family, how you're going to pay the bills, any of that, right? And so when I've been in those situations, day and night, I got this, sick feeling in my stomach. It kept me awake at night. All I could think about is how am I going to get the money to feed me? How am I going to get money to pay the bills? How am I going to be able to cover the insurance? I don't have insurance. Now I got the repo man, chasing me on the car. I got to hide my car. Now I got to be in a position where, all of a sudden it's, I'm getting evicted from my apartment. How am I going to pay my utilities? How am I going to, so when you're in a position where money is tight, you think about it all the time. All the time you're thinking about money. I watched a skit on Facebook the other day, and we know people that are homeless. And isn't it amazing that people that are homeless, if they don't change their state of mind and they feel like they're stuck in a position, isn't it amazing that they're constantly begging for money? Think about that. So their whole thing is trying to find shelter, trying to find food, and trying to beg for money. Now, if you think about that one concept, and it is true, if you believe this, that you're supposed to put God first. You're supposed to put your creator first. You're supposed to be thinking positive. You're supposed to be doing that. How can you do that when you're constantly thinking about money? So here's a paradigm that I want you to think about, and think about it good. Really, really contemplate this, please, for me, because it'll shift you forever. When I didn't put God first, the root of the love of money is the root of all evil, is when I didn't have any. It's when I didn't have any is where it consumed my life. It really consumed my life. And so when you think about that one thought, think about this in another thought, right? Okay, so have you ever been in a position where you've had money? Just a little overabundance money, or maybe a lot. You will know your personality immediately if you're the person that is giving gifts. You're giving gifts. You give people that you see in need money. You're taking people out to eat and you're paying. You see what I mean? So I've been blessed to be in a place where I had no money, and it was my only thoughts. It kept me awake night. Gave me stress. It hurt my heart. I was hungry, and that was my thought. You see what I'm saying? And then I've had abundance of money. And when I have abundance of money, and I'm the kind of person that gives and gives the charities and gives the homeless people, when you make that decision, isn't it amazing that now you get to put the right thoughts first? So here's what I'd like you to try as an experience for those of you that have money issues, is try to get on the other side of money. Try to make an abundance of money. A billionaire shared with me, Roger Penske, that the definition of a budget was make more than you can spend. Make more money than you can spend. That's the definition of a budget. A different mindset, a different thought. Now, when I run across people like Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn says, listen, if you're not making money, then you need to make yourself more valuable. You got to make yourself more valuable to the marketplace. So you always get this concept out there, right? Where, Jim Rohn said when he talked to his mentor, Earl Scholl says, you got to invest in yourself. You need to invest in yourself. You need to find some mentors. You need to find some people and invest in yourself. You got to pay for their wisdom. You got to pay for their training. And all of a sudden, Jim Rohn says, I can't afford to. See, I can't afford to. I don't have any money. And Earl Scholl said, you can't afford not to. And he goes, no. You don't get it. My company doesn't pay me enough money. And he goes, wait a minute. Does your company pay other people more than they pay you? Yeah. Does your company pay people a lot more than they pay you? Yeah. Why? Why? Well, it's really simple why. The whole scenario behind that is the concept is those people are more valuable. Whether the world thinks that them having a degree or them have multiple degrees, experience, whatever it is, you got to be worth more money. You got to become more valuable to the marketplace. Well, how does this pertain to being an entrepreneur? Well, you got to work on your people skills. You got to work on your people skills. You got to work on your communication skills. You got to work on your work ethic skills. You got to educate yourself. I watched an interview today with Mark Cuban, and this guy was really intelligent in asking this question. He says, I know that people always ask you all the time, what do successful people do? I'm going to ask you, out of everything that you know, what do you think makes people fail? What do all people that fail have in common? And Mark Cuban didn't even hesitate. He said, no brains, no action. No brains, no action. And the guy goes, what do you mean no brains? If you ask them, what's the last book that they read? If you ask them, what was the last training program that you invested in? When's the last seminar that you went to? When you talk to people that are not using their brain, they're not educating themselves. They're not following documented mentors. They're not following people that are documented and helping other people learn. If you find these people that are not working on them, then they're not going anywhere. On the same hand, if you find people that are not building their brain on a day-to-day basis and they're not in action. So there's other people that are working on the brain, but they're not going into action. You see what I mean? So no brains, no action. So, people can have really incredible work ethic and not develop their skills yet and willing to master the mundane and go out there and make a very significant amount of money. So the next step that you want to get past is understanding that, that wealthy people are good. See, if you do your research on a lot of wealthy people, from all the names that you heard of, from the Rockefellers to the J. Paul Gettys, to think that you go into LA today and you go on the 405 and you'll see J. Paul Getty Drive that takes you to a multi-billion-dollar museum called the J. Paul Getty Museum. See, there's a lot of people that are wealthy that gave virtually all of their money, not a little bit, all of their money back to humanitarian, to charities, to all kinds of things. So when you start hanging around those kind of people and you hear that, Bill Gates right now, and the Gates Foundation, I think it's over $70 billion that they've invested, throughout the world. Warren Buffett just wrote Bill Gates a $38 billion check. You know what I mean? To go into the endowment to continue to do it. There's over 256 people now that are billionaires that now signed a petition with Warren Buffett and Bill Gates to give away over 50% of all their net worth. This is not what their paper says is worth. This is their billionaire status. Just to get into the billionaires group, you got to be worth cash $1 billion. And then they make a commitment to give half of that away. Over half of that away. So you'll get to understand that, yes, there's bad broke people. There's very bad broke people. And there's bad wealthy people. So we grew up watching movies like what? Wall Street, greed is good. But they want to always vilify the rich person, right? So get that. You got to change that paradigm shift. Now, the other thing I got here is what is money really? I want to give you another concept that I hope will change your paradigm. Is when you think about money, you got a couple of thoughts, right? One is there's this belief out there that God created everything. God created everything. Well, if he created everything, did God create money? See, there's always this thing. When there's not good things, then man invented them. So God didn't inspire someone with good ideas to do something. So if it's something good, if it's really, really good, then God granted him. God gave him the wisdom. God inspired him with a dream. You see what I mean? It's like God helped him out, right? And then if something bad happens, then man created it. Just a thought, right? But if money is something that was created, what money is to me is money very simply gives Robert Hollis options. It allows Robert Hollis to make more decisions. And it allows me to give to people. So money only is two things to me. It allows me decisions, more decisions than when I was broke. And some of those decisions, a lot of those decisions, is to use that money to give to people that are more in need. I watched a video today, and it really blew my mind. I want to post it because it was right before I did this video. And a guy was walking on the street. And as he was walking on the street, he was holding a sign that says, "Take what you need. Take what you need." And he had money taped all over his jacket. Take what you need. And so this woman walks up and starts pulling money off of it. And he goes, "Wow, nice Louis Vuitton bag." And she goes, "Thank you." And he says, "Do you need the money?" She goes, "No, I don't need it. But if you're giving it away, I'll go ahead and take it." And then another lady walked up, had a designer bag. And then a guy walked up and he's like, this guy's dressed, and he said to the guy, he's taking the money off of him. And he's saying, "Do you need the money?" "No, I don't need the money, but I'm taking it." And so all these people are taking all the money off of him, and he's walking down the street with a cardboard sign, and he all of a sudden walks up to a homeless man. And when the homeless man walks up, he says, "I'll take $2. And he goes, "Do you need more?" And he said, "No, I just need $2. I'm hungry. And $2, I know where to go to get some food." "Well, why don't you take some more?" "I don't need any more." "Well, why don't you take at least enough money for tomorrow?" "No, other people might need that money today." It's like, wow, you know what I mean? And I've seen these videos over and over and over where people that seem to have less are more givers than people that have a lot. So don't you think that video was maybe edited? See, a lot of people I seen on here said, "Oh, and it was sad" or whatever. I think that the video was edited. There's not a doubt in my mind that they purposely picked out people that are the bad people. See what I mean? So now what did the video teach us? The videos taught us the meek shall inherit the earth. That the poor people are the good people. The people with the designer jackets and the designer suits and the designer handbags. See, they're the takers. See what I mean? They're takers. No, they just vilified and focused on all the takers. How many people walked by? There was a lot of people that walked by that didn't grab any money. They seen it and they just kept walking. Why wasn't the video focused on them? No, it just focused on the bad people and then of course put the good person at the end. That's the way our world works. See what I mean? So if we're seeing images about that all the time, then you got to change the way you think. Another thing is, I want everybody to type it up. If you know this answer already, because you hang around my training, don't type in the answer, all right? This is for people that have never heard this before. The question I have for each one of you, and thank you for the hearts and also for making posts here, but where does money come from? Where does money come from? And for some of you that don't know the answer, go ahead and type in. You know what I mean? Because some people have seen me do this before, and it's like, whoa, I never thought about that. So, so where does money come from? And when I've done this in front of other people, it's like banks. It comes from Scott. See, I know Scott couldn't help himself. You know what I mean? You tell Scott, don't answer the question. He goes, okay, I'll answer the question. So now Scott gave it away, all right? So money comes from people. Money comes from people. You don't see a dog with a wallet. So here's the whole point. Here's the point. Is if you come up with something, an idea, something of value, you make yourself more valuable. You work on your communication skills. You learn to be good at stories. If you really, 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 really get good and become valuable and be a go-giver, not a taker, people will give you their money. People will give you their money in exchange for information, wisdom, a service, a product. You got to become valuable. You got to come up with an idea and a story, a mission and a passion that's valuable. See, now, broke people constantly think this. They go, if I only had money, if I only had resources, if I only had the right people, if I only had people that would help me. That's not the way it works. See, you got to be passionate first, find something to give. And give free content, give free wisdom, give free knowledge. Take the time to help people. And if you help people, then the byproduct from helping people is money. See? So I'll close it with saying this, is if you look at Bill Gates, which is the wealthiest person in the planet again, I don't know how many years that he's made this, right? But if you look at Bill Gates when he was a wide open entrepreneur taker, he admits it. He admits it. His goal was to be the biggest and the baddest and to destroy anybody in his way. And even people say that it was like unscrupulous as far as this shrewd businessman of what he did, sort of like Steve Jobs, in the story that's coming out about him, right? And so all of a sudden, what happens to Bill Gates is he gets this net worth around, 30 billion. Wow, 30 billion. That's pretty impressive. Then all of a sudden he gets married to Melinda. Then he has a couple of daughters. Then he builds a relationship with his father. And then he steps away from being CEO of Microsoft, just becomes chairman of the board. Then all of a sudden, he doesn't have a lot of interest in Microsoft. Now he's building the Gates Foundation with his family, including his father, going out there and eradicating diseases. I mean, that's a goal. You want a goal? The goal is to make sure that never another person on the planet gets malaria. So now he's going out there and doing these pretty lofty goals, right? He takes his focus off his business and he now starts giving money to people and dedicates himself to charity. And then you have the billionaire that was finishing number 2 write you a check for more than your net worth used to be. Then he started helping people. So instead of beating them up, he started investing in a lot of companies, becoming their mentor, becoming part owner and investors in other people's ideas. And I haven't seen his net worth lately, but he hasn't been actively building Microsoft for probably 20 years. And he's now like up in the 50s, the 60s, the $70 billion. So now, because he's giving more than he ever had, his net worth is growing faster than it ever did. He can't slow down his net worth because now he's all about giving. And the more he gives, the more he gets. So a closing statement to all of you is money's just like horse manure. Horse manure or cow dung, right? If you stack it all up, it not only rots, but it smells really, 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 really bad. But if you take it and spread it out as far as you can and give it to everything that you can and you just share it, then it allows everything to grow. So start looking at a way that money will come to you through your giving. Set your goals. When I learned this, I never set another goal. I do not set goals on how much money I'm going to make. I don't do it anymore. Now I set my goals on how much I'm going to give a year, the charities that I'm going to give a year, the amount of hours and time that I'm going to give to other people. And when I do that, my income goes up. So now I'm trying to help other people get on the other side of the money to help them build their lives and their empires. And in turn, everything continues to grow for me. So if it's not working for you the old way, try these new paradigms with money to see if they really help you. There's a book out there too recently that I've been promoting called The Code to Joy by Dr. George Pratt. If you go on my blogs, I think it's underneath the blog Disgusted. You'll find the link to his websites and really, really, really cool things to find out where those limiting beliefs are about everything that you have, so you no longer have to continue to live the life that you did in 15, 14, 13, and 12. Make sure that you change that. So I appreciate each and every one of you for watching this scope. I'm looking forward to posting it on my blog. And guess what? Tomorrow we'll do it again. So take care and God bless. Looking forward to talking to y'all. Check out lifemechanic.com and God bless. Talk to you soon.